This is Lucy Talks Movies. It's not that I don't admire Ken Burns. He's a towering figure in film history. The Civil War series awakened all of us to how documentary could give the public a shared experience. Those 9 episodes inspired and cleared the path for the explosion of variety in documentaries, and in their being shown in theaters along with feature films. Ken Burns' films have been one of the justifications for having a public broadcasting system, which, until HBO, kept the standards up on TV programming. But anyone that important will begin to get more than his due. For starters, he made the Civil War series with his brother Rick, and a lot of other people. Burns says so himself. And in this interview, he explains that it was Steve Jobs' idea to call panning over a still picture the Ken Burns effect. When I first saw it in iMovie, I took it as a measure of Ken Burns' hubris. The effect is not his. If anything, it was employed by the BBC and Canadian TV in the 60s, which lay the groundwork for Burns and for public broadcasting in America, though it is part of a style he perfected in the Civil War series. But it happens that the Ken Burns effect causes havoc more often than it works, so I never use it. It's one of those fussy, annoying ticks in the system that I have to remember to turn off to keep the program from crashing or just getting stuck when I try and bring a picture into a movie. And for Burns, an extremely sophisticated, finely spun, sharp-minded, romantic-tongued man, I can't say that he wouldn't rather be celebrated in Final Cut Pro, the program for professionals, the software first championed by another giant, Walter Murch, who Burns, no doubt, admires. Burns may feel less inclined than ever to be a populist, having had for the first time in his career to bend to pressure from his public and re-edit the latest series he directed and produced with Lynn Novick, The War, to include a soldier of Latin descent in his profiles of American fighters during World War II. As an artist, there is no deeper violation than to be told what to create, but filmmaking has been riddled with such compromises from the beginning. It's a collaborative medium that includes the funding, the making, and the audience response. Unfortunately, all that extra work and personal sacrifice from Burns won't help this series. What the war didn't need was one more American. It needed comparative voices of soldiers from other countries. To enrich our understanding of the war we left home to fight, we needed to see through eyes from other cultures and our own. Clint Eastwood tried this in his 2 Iwo Jima films. Because all the voices are American, I think the war is repetitive and dull, but you can see for yourself at the Letterman Digital Arts Center this Friday through Sunday, September 14th to 16th, as part of the San Francisco State University Doc Film Institute's and the San Francisco Film Society's year-round programming. Or you can wait 10 days and see it on television. I, for one, am on the edge of my seat in anticipation of Burns' next series. It is about the national parks in our country that brings a host of questions he is equipped to delve into, maybe now more than ever. I am trusting him to have been changed by the experience of making The War, in which he tried to reform his own style. He pushed at the limits of his envelope, and he got attacked. I believe in his strength of intelligence enough that he will keep tugging at his form and find a way not to repeat himself, a way to climb out of what are becoming, with the help of iMovie and Latin historical societies, Burns's cliches. Burns believes that history lives and can show us a way into the future. I can only hope that our next president, and maybe there's a chance here with the educated Hillary Clinton, will have seen and learned from Lincoln in the Civil War series. It was the historian Barbara Fields who showed us that the war didn't begin to free the slaves, but how the president used the Emancipation Proclamation to win it. The intention was what abolitionist Republicans needed to hear, not to block Lincoln's re-election, and the ideas kept English and Frenchmen from joining the Confederates. That is diplomacy, strategy, politics, qualities that we need more than ever to dig us out of the hole of the ideologue that Bush dug. I used to think Al Gore could think us back into sanity, but even he has become a zealot. What Burns could do with the parks is to remind us that we can work on complex puzzles and come out better for it.